And chat.
The chat is on, no?
Not to
Is it not
everyone.
on?
No.
One second.
Yeah, it is on, sir. It is on.
1 minute.
It is on in the sense not everyone.
Let me just check it up once again. It's on, Ajit.
Okay.
Okay. Once again, I'll click it on. Okay. Fine. Okay. Friends, very good evening.
So good evening, sir.
And welcome you all for the 11th and final lecture, the Structural Engineering series organized by ACCI Institute's Working Group, the most effective wing of Association of Consulting Civil Engineers India, in disseminating technical and professional knowledge to the civil engineering community. Nowadays, we have a very wide choice of structural engineering softwares available in the market. However, it's difficult for engineers to make a decision regarding which software tool would be the best fit for their practice or for a particular project. Industry is moving towards automation, and there are many benefits seen by using software tools such as improved turnaround in bidding, engineering, manufacturing, and execution. Today's topic, comparative study of design software tools, will shed light on the latest development and benefits of these design software tools. Friends, it's my privilege today to introduce. 1 minute.
Anybody else? Please raise your hand if you want, or I want the next speaker's formless.
Mute all. Okay. Okay. Friends, it is my privilege today to introduce Speaker of the Day, Engineer Chandra Shekar. Engineer Chandra Shekar, having got his diploma and bachelor's degree in civil engineering, obtained his Master of Technology in Structural Engineering. He has over 20 years of expertise in Building Information Modeling BIM, Integrated Project Delivery IPD process, construction automation workflow implementation in AEC and EPC industries. He has previously worked in international locations and has an understanding of various standards of practices globally. The idea of being an entrepreneur came to his mind during the pandemic of COVID. It took a lot of courage and determination to leave behind a stable job of almost 13 years in Trimble Tekla to become a startup entrepreneur. Engineer Chandra Shekar is a co-founder of TurnBIM Engineering Services, which provides BIM services to domestic and international projects and customers. He has been a panel member for the preparation of Precast Handbook by Indian Concrete Institute and has drafted a chapter on IT in precast construction. He has presented technical papers related to information technology in construction, building information modeling BIM in various national and international discussion forums. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm audible.
Clear.
Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
you can unmute. No, I'm sorry. There was a network problem here. I had to.
No issues,
reboot.
sir. We have been
Okay, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
now?
Ranganath, what I suggest is please hand it over immediately to Chandra Shekar.
Ah,
So in case we have a recurring problem on your side, at least
Ah.
he can continue without
Okay.
any problem. And
Okay.
please don't unmute us.
but the
Don't mute
problem
us.
is,
Sorry.
yeah, the problem is it's going to echo.
Sir,
His talk will not be clear.
Okay.
In fact, I'm sorry. None of my introduction part I think you heard. Should I introduce
No,
the speaker? Huh?
no, we heard the speaker's introduction.
Okay. Fine. I think Chandra Shekar, did you get the message?
yeah. Can you hear me, sir, now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
I'll mute
Today's
everybody
topic is
first.
on,
I'll mute everybody
Okay.
because
Yes, sir. Please
otherwise
mute and lock. Yes, sir.
his
Please mute.
speech will not be heard. Okay. You can unmute yourself and talk, Chandra Shekar. Yeah, you're unmuted.
Sir.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Today's topic is on comparative study of design software tools. As rightly said, nowadays we have very wide choice of structural engineering tools. And however, it is very difficult for engineers to make a decision regarding which software tool would be the best fit for their practice. And as you mentioned, like industry is moving towards automation, and there are many changes happening on the software side also, where the improved bidding and engineering and manufacturing and execution side also. If a structural engineer and the structural engineer, as well as the MEP and the fabrication, the erection, the construction site, if we are all using the compatible software or the tool or the platform, so definitely we can expedite the design, fabrication, and construction process. Okay, so is the screen is clear, sir, now?
Yeah, it is clear. Let me see the screen.
Okay.
No,
Your
your
complete
screen has
applications
not
are
come.
there.
Screen is not
Chandrasekhar,
there.
we are not seeing you.
Your screen has not come. You
Yes,
can
sir.
start presentation.
Okay. 1 second, sir. Let me share again.
Yeah. Now the blank screen is there. You can start the presentation now.
Okay. Can you see the screen, sir, now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nowadays, when you see the computer applications in civil engineering and the use of computer applications in every field, the structural engineering, the highway, the transportation, the geotechnical, even the hydraulics and environmental and construction engineering, and various applications are available only to automate, the repetitive task and repeating the identical or similar task without making any errors and documentation, and at the same time sharing also. Okay, but today the discussion is going to be more on the structural engineering side. Okay, so when you take any structure, definitely we want to do the information management, the design coordination, the accurate. We need the accurate bill of material, and even with the revisions also, and the communication between the different stakeholders, and the collaboration. We want to see the 3D model, and we want to do the rendering, the walkthrough, the fly through, check everything in detail, and even for demolition also we need the 3D model, and for the design verification, change management, tender quantity. So everywhere, we are taking the help of the software tools one or other way. Okay, and the software tools have simplified the analysis and design. Definitely yes. When you see the simple to the complex structures, we need the software tools. And before we use any tools, we need to be very clear with the engineering concepts behind the software functionality, and understanding the basic assumptions and considerations made during the software development. Every software, they come with some assumptions, okay, and they develop, and it's an ongoing process. The time to time, they come with the new releases and the versions. And again, the software tool, the selection is based on the project and the project requirement. Okay, it's not the as a very general software tool. Always the selection is based on the project requirement. Okay, when you see the structures nowadays, they are not simple, and even the architectures, they work on the aesthetic point of view, more of a the column-free buildings, the longer spans, and buildings are getting more and more complex. And if you can see over here, the curved shear walls, the column-free building, the irregular flat slabs, very the complex. Even the continuous innovation in the construction materials and including the technologies, the urban structures are becoming more and more advanced day by day. As a structural engineer, it's our responsibility so buildings are safe and stable and don't collapse under the applied loads. Okay. And when you see the industry, there are various tools are available, starting from this Bentley, the CSI, TAPS,
audio, Chandra Shekar.
Tekla, Trimble, the GT Straddle, SIPE, Autodesk products, and Stab. Different various products are there. Okay. Yeah, sir. Is this clear?
Yeah, your audio is breaking in between.
Okay. Okay. So is it clear, sir, now?
Now it is clear.
Hello?
Clear,
Just
clear.
stay close to the
Okay.
mic. Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays, when you see there are various software tools are available, and we're all practicing, on day-to-day basis, the different tools, starting from this Bentley, the STAD, the CSI, TAPS, NISA, the Trimble Tekla, Tekla Structural Listener, Procon, Reza, Strap, and different products are there, like the SIPE and the Autodesk product, like the Robot. Okay, the various products are there. So in the comparison criteria, we are going to see the different details, like the general, how we can check the details and the modeling features available, the different loads, the load combinations, analysis, and the design, and the output, and the BIM capabilities. Okay, so based on this, we are going to do the comparison. And when it comes to the general comparison, we are going to check like, is it easy to use? So always we are looking for the straightforward or the user friendly. Nowadays with the graphical user interface, most of the tools are easy to use. Okay, and affordable, like it should be cost effective, the good value for the money, and at the same time accurate also. That means a reliable tool, the good in quality and or the performance. And nowadays we get the software verification examples also, so which will support in our decision making. And interoperable. Okay, that means ability to communicate with other software tools. And various file formats are there. When you see the different tools, they come with their own the file formats. So it should be interoperable so that we can exchange, we can transfer the model from one application to other application, which is very important. And the single interface. That means when I'm working on the project, I should not use the 10 different software tools. So it should be in one single the single interface, so that I do the multiple iterations very fast and easy, and at the same time transfer from shift from analysis to the design to the analysis, and do multiple the iterations from conceptual to the final designs. And at the same time, the manpower or the operator, it is one of the criteria in the comparison. Then definitely the manpower affects the everything in business, from production to the client relationship. So certified or the qualified operator availability also we need to check. That is also very important. And when I start with the modeling, when you start the building the model, there are various ways we start the building the model. We can easily there are options where you can bring in the DXF files or the DWG or DXF files and import it or shadow the grid drawings. Okay, And at the same time, import the PDF files. Why I'm saying this PDF file is, when you have the 20 pages of PDF file as an input, you can select, the 18th page or the 17th page, so that software will internally convert and it will keep as a reference file. That also, the one of the feature when you start building the model. And at the same time, there are other various way, the methods and the file formats where directly you can bring in the architectural information into the structural model, okay, and position the columns and the beams and the every element, and discuss with the architect directly with the 3D model and go to the next step. That is also possible. And when you start building the structural 3D model, it is very important to see the physical model and the analysis model. Most of the time, what happens is when you start building the model, we ignore, the secondary members. When you're doing the 3D finite element analysis, it is very important to add, the secondary members also, because the stiffness of those members are missing. Okay, the stiffness of those members are missing. So we should not miss the secondary member stiffness, which is very important. That means the model which is going to be constructed or erected in the site, we call it as a physical model. The analytical model, where we always model exactly at the center. So on the left-hand side, you can see the physical model and the analysis model on the right-hand side. I took some snapshots from the various tools. Okay, and even, the one can do the releases, check the support conditions in the analysis model. And physical position and the member properties. Most of the time, what happens is any wall loads, manually we calculate and we apply the load, and we miss, the eccentricity. Okay, so whatever the gap is there, that also we need to consider. Most of the tools, when you apply the load, automatically these things will be taken care. Okay, the physical model and the analytical model. And nowadays, we see the softwares tools where easily we can model the steel elements as well as the concrete elements without any difficulty. The library is readily available. Even the locally, the manufactured, the steel sections, they are also available in the library. And at the same time, the built-up sections, the built-up beams or the columns, the plate girder, box girder, the box column, the covered plate beams. You can see some of the sections over here. These kind of sections easily one can model and analyze, and up to some extent, design also can. That is also possible in most of the tools. And effective lengths. So in some of the tools, the manually we calculate the effective lengths. It's a tedious and a cumbersome process. And when you're doing the proper, the analytical model, automatically the effective lengths have been taken care. The most of the details are automated over here. And the support conditions. There are various types of support conditions are there, like the roller, pin support, and the fixed support, and the simple support. Without knowing, the type of the support, one should not, do any releases. Most of the softwares will allow you to do some releases in different, the directions. Again, before we do any releases, we need to know the behavior also. That is very important. Okay. Otherwise, it is very difficult when you go with some assumption. So accordingly, we need to analyze, and accordingly we need to design, and accordingly we need to detail also. Then only the structure is going to behave. And coming to the next, the loading. Nowadays, when we see the softwares are so automated, where the different types of loading and the load combinations are readily available. Easily one can apply, the point load, the line loads, the polygon loading, the variable patch loading, perimeter loading, temperature loads, and the pre-stress loads. It's all possible with the graphical user interface. Easily one can model. That is something the possible. And when it comes to the wind loading, one of the loading, where the simple loading to the diaphragm is possible, where easily one can apply the different types of loadings, and predetermined wind forces are applied to the structure via levels. That is possible. And most of the tools, the details are already, the available, and directly you can select the zone and the area, and automatically these loads can be applied. The simple loading, and even the automated wind loading, and by the wind panels as per, the standards of practice, like IS 875 Part 3, and wind load via diaphragms. Any complex loading also, can be applied. and automatically, the software will take care. For auto-wind load, the cases and the rigid diaphragms, loading is applied at geometric centroid. In case of semi-rigid diaphragms, auto-wind loads are distributed in 10 nodes, so that the summation of these forces with respect to the centroid will be equivalent to the lateral and torsional wind cases. That is something possible. And the pattern loading. Most of the time we ignore this pattern loading. When you're working on the high-rise buildings, this is very important. The effect of pattern loading is felt more on the upper stories. The values of the bending moment are significantly higher for pattern loading as compared with the conventional loading for both beams and column members. The effect of loading is felt more on interior beams members as compared with the exterior beams, or in some cases, and the top floor, the interior beam the most as compared with any other beam members. The effect of pattern loading is more on the beam sagging moment as compared with the hogging moment. The values of the bending moment of interior columns obtained by conventional loading are negligible as compared with pattern loading. Also, the pattern loading exhibits the sign reversal in case of internal columns also. Okay, the pattern loading causes the insignificant increase in values of shear force in beams and axial force in columns. So this is very important. One should not skip the pattern loading. And automated load decomposition. As I said, nowadays with the software tools, easily these kind of features are available where we do the automated load decomposition. The load decomposition of slab loads on supporting members is performed wherever necessary prior to the analysis, but it is not restricted to beams and slab models, as it is also useful for decomposing flat slab loads onto columns. And automated submodels. Coming to the next, the automated submodels. In tall buildings, the column carry the huge loads which effectively compress the column along its axis. This is commonly known as axial shortening. The axial column displacement generate the significant forces within the structural elements they support and can cause the failure of surrounding non-structural elements. So this feature is also automated in most of the tools. And seismic analysis. Almost in all the tools I have seen, most of these options are readily available. Like the dynamic consideration may include the model, response spectrum, time history, P delta. Okay, the geometric non-linearity. Okay, so time to time, they are also developing, and this feature is readily available, and it is automated. So automatically, this load can be applied, and at the same time, load combination. So whatever the loads we are going to apply, like the dead load and the live load, the wind load and the earthquake load, the automatic load command automatically it does the load combination, and at the same time it will allow you to add a new load combination also can. And the analysis, the various steps of analysis are available. The starting from the first and second order linear, non-linear, vibration, buckling, the FE chase down, the relay chase down, semi-rigid, rigid diaphragms, the response spectrum, P delta analysis, the equivalent static analysis, linear dynamic analysis, pushover analysis, the construction stage analysis, and the time history analysis. Based on the project requirement, one can select the analysis method or the type that is possible. And as I said, when you have the single platform, it is very easy to do the multiple iterations where we do the analysis and at the same time design. And if any changes, because we are going to start from the conceptual model and repeat it, the iterations are required. That also we can do here very easily. That is possible. Okay. And coming to the concrete design and the steel design. So most of the tools supports the Indian standards of practice on the steel and the concrete designs, where directly we can do the designs And these are all, the optimized members, optimized, the design details for every element, like the columns, beams, braces, trusses, and different type of method, like the limit state or the working stress method. And Indian steel section libraries, as I said, already it is available even for the built up also. The component section is nothing but the built up section. And for the concrete, the designs where, as per the standards of practice, these are all automated and interactive. The rebar design option is also available. That means where the user can select, the size of the rebar and the principal bar as well as the intermediate bar, and for the links, and change as per the site availability of the rebar. Okay, and at the same time he can control the spacing. When the percentage of steel is already there, based on that it does the distribution internally. So there are various tools which does this, the in an interactive way, the rebar design. And again, the various shape of columns, the circular, rectangular, L shape, T shape, C shape, the various shapes, the one can do the design. And time to time, the software developers, they're adding, the new shapes always in the tool. And going to the next, the flat slab designs. Starting from the simple flat slab with the drop panels, easily we can do the modeling. And the flat slab with the column heads and with the drop panels as well as with the column heads, the various options are available using which, the one can do the design. That is possible. And in the flat slabs, the punching shear design and automatic elements of slab openings, the column drops, even one can control the mesh sizes also, the shape also, that is also possible. And punching shear is a type of failure of reinforced concrete slabs subjected to high localized, the forces. And in flat slabs, the structures, the focus at column support points, the failure is due to the shear. Automatically, these details will be, calculated and displayed. And when it comes to the composite, like composite deck slab and composite beams and composite columns, so most of the tools allow you to model these kind of, the composite, the members and the elements and the sections. But on the design side, we are depending more on the Euro codes or other codes, not with the standards of practice. So what I have seen in the tools. And coming to the foundation designs, the different types of foundations and the foundation designs are automated, and it does the auto design of the pad footing or the strip footing, or the piles or the pile cap. So size, depth, and bottom reinforcements are automated, and as per the standards of practice, it does the design. They're all automated, and as I said, most of the tools what I have seen is in one single interface, where I can see the beam, column, slab, shear walls, and all the elements in one single platform, in one single, the window. One can complete all this, the activities, starting from the analysis and design and detailing also. And going to the next, on the foundation side, the mat foundations, the pile caps, and raft with the piles. It can, most of the tools do the design of the piles, not the pile caps, not the piles. Okay, those options are also available. And piled with the mat foundations, I'm just using some of the some snapshot from the software, where you can see clearly the pile mat foundations. It's an integral, the foundation is an integral with the overall model analysis. And the pile mat can also be designed considering the RSA forces developed in the frame. That is also possible, even with the inclined piles. And where it generates, the pass or fail information, the utilization ratio displayed, the graphically. That is something, the possible, where, the complete structure one can see, and color coded. It's a member if pass or fail. That is also possible. And various drawings. So starting from all the general element drawings, okay, the foundation drawings, and these drawings are generated automatically. And one can control, the how many rebar you want to show in the drawings, That also one can control the color, the font, the size, the positioning. All these features are readily available, so that we can do it very easily. That is possible, and export in a very export in a export as a CAD file. And even for the layout drawings, the rebar details and the material, the schedules, automated for all foundation types. You can see some of the foundation types over here. Okay, the pile caps as well as the shear wall. Okay, the strip, and even for the steel sections. So almost for all the elements, one can know the model and at the same time analyze and at the same time design and as well as the detail and at the same time the step-by-step calculations with all the codal clauses, the member pass and fail information. Those things are possible. These are all automated nowadays. The rebar drawings that we can see over here, and one can control the number of sections to be generated. Okay, the one section or three sections, the stirrups, the zones, that is also possible, and the beam schedules with all the details, the column schedules. So even we can do the grouping also possible, even for the shear wall, for all the elements in a one single platform. So one can generate all these details directly from the tool. The slab rebar details, the presentation wise, as I said, the color, font, positioning, everything can be controlled. It's a one-time setting that one can do, and even the material list. And whenever you do the changes, automatically all your deliverables like your material list gets updated, the instantly. That is something the possible in most of the tools. And we can see here the material list where it gives the bill of materials and the reinforcement quantity. And this we can generate for one single member or for the selected area or for the whole structure in one single go. It is possible. And as I said, like the flexible reports, the one can export these reports in a Word file or Excel file or a PDF files. Okay, for the documentation. That is possible in most of the tools. So let me just show it to you very quickly. As I said, I'm using some, the tool over here. Okay, any structure. So can you see the screen now? Just say yes or no.
Yeah, we can see. We can see.
Okay. Okay. See, you can see here, the multi-story structure. Okay, and here I'm going to show you some interactive designs. I'm just using one of the tools. Okay, and where the software will allow to select the rebar size available in the site. So one can select very easily the rebar size and the number of count, and easily we can check. And even with the links also it is possible. And at the same time, we can go to this, the step-by-step calculations where it shows the details. And you can see here IS 456-2000. It gives all the pass and fail information, and easily one can export these details from the model and we can document it. That is possible. And even you can come with a detailed report or a single page format. Those kind of features are readily available. Okay, and when I need the drawing, I can see here the drawing generated. And as I said, this is in a CAD format. I'm just showing you the live presentation where you can see the member and at the same time rebar details and how many sections you need in one single span. That also one can control, and at the same time all in the tabulated way. Okay, the schedules that also we can check. So easily we can generate for all for the whole structure or for the one single member also possible. We can generate for all the for the whole structure. Possible. Hello. Hello. So can you hear me, sir, now? Hello?
We can hear you. I think there is some disturbance.
Okay. There is a disturbance, so that is the reason.
Yeah, just mute everybody once.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, okay, like that, we can check, the step-by-step calculations as well as the drawings. So in one single platform, we can do that. And even for the columns, okay, so we can do the interactive designs where easily, we can do in groups also that is also possible, where we can see the reinforcement arrangement and the rebar sizes, the number of count. Since already the percentage of reinforcement is already there, it is just a distribution. So easily we can do. So most of the software tools allow, this feature, okay? And even on the links, okay? And you can go and check, the design calculations. Because after the design, we need to do the documentation, okay? So easily we can check. See, as per the IS 456, for what clause is pass or fail, all these details, IS 456. Okay, and even color coded, we can see the member pass or fail information. That is also possible. So very easily we can do. So what I'm trying to tell you is like with the graphical user interface nowadays, easily, in one single platform, we can do the model, analyze and design as well as the detail and the drawings and calculations. That is something, the possible. And when I go to the drawing over here, okay. So the column drawing is generated where I can see the section and the details, and only the draftman job is to add these details in a proper format and then a proper template. Okay, that is something, the possible. Even for all the elements, and even when I go to the foundation also, it could be for all types of foundations and design. And then you can generate the drawing. That is possible. Okay, so let me come back to the presentation now. Okay. Okay, coming to next, the steel connections. Most of the time what happens is for the structure, we do the member designs, and for the connections, we struggle. Okay, so there are many tools. So where I checked, the tools like the QNET and the Proform, the Desktop, and most of the time, the structural engineers are using their own in-house, the spreadsheets. There is a tool like the Buildsoft, Visa, and Idea Statica, where the connection designs are available, where the various types of different types of connections are available for bolted connections and the base plates, footing, and anchoring, and intuitive design of simple and even highly complex connections. That is something more easier and faster. That also I'm going to show it to you, and even it will generate the pass and fail results for any type of connections based on various standards of practice. So today we're going to discuss on the Indian standards, and there are very easy applications of any required loading to the project. A complete report including the stiffness, the seismicity and buckling, that is possible. And even they are linking with the existing tools, which is something the very important. When you're using any CAD files or any analysis and design files, analysis tools, where we do the member design. Today, if you see in the practice where we are doing the member design, for connection design, we struggle. But at the same time, if I worked on the particular tool, what I can do is directly transfer this information to this connection design tools, where this will, these tools are going to work only on the connections. Okay. And at the same time, there is a link between, the different tools, the bi-directional, that is possible. Okay, so for example, if I worked on the ETAPS model, okay, I have a ETAP model, the steel model, and I did the member design for the connections, directly can transfer over here, and where it does the overall check, the stress strain analysis, the stiffness analysis, the member capacity design, and at the same time the buckling analysis, design joint resistance. Okay, and you can see over here different types of connections like the stadium roof, the warehouse, the power plant, this kind of connections, and not just the simple the shear connections or the moment connections, or the tubular connection. Even you can come with your own new type of connection also can. Not the regular one, even you can create some openings in that. That is also possible. Okay, so this will allow. And as I said, it generates a detailed report, all checks according to the code. Okay, so let me just go next to the live. So I'm going to show you some connections over here. So if you guys can see over here, I'm using one particular tool where you can see, I can see the connections, the very detailed, the connection, where I can see the weld and the bolts and even the bracings. Okay, the eye section, the column and the beam. Okay, so how it is going, I can see very clearly, how it is connected and the weld details. And with this detail, I'm going to do the design. And once I do the design, I generated the report over here. We can see over here the detailed report where it gives you the detailed calculations. And there's an option is available where you can generate a single page report also can, or if you want the detailed report where it gives you the step-by-step calculations with the codal clauses and the formulas, everything is available. Where it does, the all types of checks with the detailed calculation report, so that you can work on the connections. Nowadays, when you see the structures, okay, the architects, they are working on the aesthetics, very different types of the structures where we need to come with our own new connection also, which is very much required. Okay, that time definitely it's going to help you. So sometime back I generated this report. You can see the detailed calculations. The detailed report is there, and you can come with a single page also can. That is also possible. Come back to this, the connections over here. Okay, and let me show you some more the type of connections. You can see the tubular connection over here. Otherwise, with the manual, the Excel sheet and the calculation, it is a bit tedious. When these kind of tools are available, so easily, we can take the help of these tools. Okay, where for these kind of connection, the cutting profile and the wraparound template, how it is going to be connected. So everything has been taken care. Okay, in these kind of tools. Let me just open some more connections. You can see here, for some reason, we need to create the opening. The simple shear connections, moment connections, as well as the tubular connections. And readily available, the templates are there, using which directly we can work with this kind of these software tools. And when you're starting any new project, you can see over here, it will allow you to come with these kind of connections where I can see the movement as well as the shear connection, as well as the tubular connections. So these kind of tools are already readily available. Okay, so the next part is going to be on the BIM, that is Building Information Modeling, which is one of the greatest technological innovation in the construction industry. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing this is like with the drawing based connection, most of the time what happens is whatever the design we did, when we share this information with the site, okay, so definitely we are going to share. That time, if they don't understand it very clearly, or if they just go with the drawing based construction, where they go with the measurements or the good for construction drawing, sometime we see these kind of mistakes. So there is a communication gap, and at the same time, they're not able to understand the drawing. Okay, that is the reason the technology like the BIM, which is going to help, okay, in the construction. And even when you're coordinating with the mechanical, electrical, plumbing people, is very important. If you can see over here on the left hand side, okay, the steel sections, we do the economical design, and for the MEP team, the installation is very important, and they just, the cut according to their wish. Okay, so these kind of, the mistakes happens when you work on the drawing-based construction. So BIM is the current practice where, the BIM model essentially facilitate collaboration between the architect and the structural engineer. Nowadays, a 3D model prepared by an architect can be relatively easily and quickly converted to an analytical model for structural analysis. And in very few simple steps, a structural engineer can obtain the stresses or deflections and proceed with the detailed checking of code requirements. As I shown you just now, so you can bring in the architectural information, start working on the model, okay, the structural model. And at the same time, BIM will allow the transfer this design information to fabrication and construction, okay. That is possible. When we are doing the 2D data exchange, we are discussing with each and every stakeholder on the project, starting from the architect, structural engineer, the project manager, builder, construction manager, everybody. Okay. But when you're working on the BIM-based process, where it's on some shared basis, okay, the building information modeling and the integrated project delivery based process, where the model is going to be exactly at the center based on your requirement and the scope you are going to work on the project. It's like a central, the repository. Let me just show it to you what I told you just now. So can you hear me, sir, now? And can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see. Please go ahead.
Okay. See, when you start, the working on any project, as I told in the beginning, like we are going to, bring in the PDF files of the some reference files. So similarly, I'm going to bring in some reference file over here. Easily one can see this detail. Okay, use this as a reference and start working on the project. And then you can bring in your structural information, and the structural information is there. And this is something like a reference file, but at the same time, it will allow you to do the snap. That is possible. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the MEP information. Definitely the MEP team, we need to ask them to work on the 3D model so that, we can coordinate with them. That is something very important. And then we can do the clash checks. Okay, we can do the clash checks and discuss with them and resolve. Otherwise, they are going to do the demolition during the erection. Okay, so that also we need to check. And the first thing we do on the ground is the survey. So here I can see the contour information, the survey information directly bring into the model so that we start working on the actual reduced levels. It's not like, we starting the project with 000. We can start with the actual reduced levels so that the information, the column location or any particular, the member location, directly we can transfer on the ground. That is something possible that I'm going to show it to you. And then bring in your architectural information also, and then the cranes and the crane position, because these are all engineering decisions. One need to take, but if you see the current practice where we are all working in silos, even though we are working on a same project, we are not sharing the complete information. We are not working in a collaborated way. Okay, so I can see all the details, and we are going to share, the 3D model information with them. And before I generate, share any drawings with the site people, I'm going to share with them the whole 3D model. And at the same time, before I release, I'm going to check, once again, one more check, that is the architectural information. Okay, what I received in the beginning as an input. Okay, and then we can transfer. That is something, the possible. Okay. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Chandra Shekar.
Okay. So, as I said, the BIM is something, the coordinated way of working. There are various tools available where you can see the different tools from the Autodesk as well as Trimble and the Bentley, the Graphisoft, and Trimble Connect, BIM 360, Navisworks, various tools are there. OpenBIM is a collaborative process. That is something, the inclusive all participants, and promoting an interoperability to benefit, the projects and assets throughout their life cycle. It is based on open standards and the workflows that allow different stakeholders to share their data with any BIM compatible software. As I said, we need to be the software, the tool, what you're going to select, that need to be versatile, so that that share the information in two ways. That is very important. If you are able to share, if you're only able to export, not import, then it is difficult. Okay, so when you have the import as well as the export, the options available, then easily we can bring in the structural information, architectural information. Okay, you may be using some different tool, so we don't want you to change, the all of a sudden. Okay, so what you can do is at least complement in the first place, and then slowly you can start, the adopting, the complete BIM. That is something at least we can start. And the BIM integrated, which is very important. Okay, BIM integrated. Any tool what you're going to select, please make sure that it's BIM integrated, so that the information what we share that goes to the site. And here I have come across the one of the information where design to fabrication. So I'm working on a structural steel project where the after the design and the details, the connection design, and then next is goes to the fabrication, the yard, where there are different types of service providers are there, where they do all this, the process, the complete process, where the drilling, folding, and profiling, laser cutting, so all this process. In the last lecture I heard, where he mentioned the company name like the Evers and I, they're the fabricators, where when consultant is working with the fabricator, the information how we can share is directly, which can go to the machines. Let me just show it to you. So in the latest, the practice in the BIM based process, where the structural engineer working on this project, and he built this model, he did the analysis, design, detail, drawings, calculation, everything is done. And then a simple file format like the XML file format or DST file format, he can upload to their portal. Okay, to their portal, where the way how we buy things from the online portal like the Amazon and Flipkart. So similarly, we can upload. So sitting in our office, and the service provider has different types of the facilities where you do the robotic welding, and the information when I upload the import data from the model, automatically it checks, and it does the nesting part of it, the plate nesting and the bar nesting, the different so that to minimize the wastage, and the workshop, the simulation, and after that he'll come with the prices for you, where the options for processing option for processing only for cutting and drilling, and for the complete processing. Okay, where you'll come to know this is the date of delivery and this is the cost. So it is something more simplified. Instead of going with the drawing based process, this will automate the complete the construction process itself. And when it comes to the rebar, there are rebar manufacturing manufacturing, the cage the suppliers are there, where the information directly goes with various file formats. And here you can see when we generate the NC files, it goes to the machine based on the size and the shape. It cuts, cutting, bending, and with proper the barcode, the rebar cage with the automated the welding, it will be delivered to the construction site. This is something automated. And at the same time, the BIM, in the BIM, the workflow, it will allow you to work on the farm works also. This is also very important, where one can do the farm works, and farm work, you can design, you can apply different types of farm works. And very quickly, I'll just show you the communication. As I said, That is something, the very important. As I said, communication is something, the very important when you're working on the project. So in the BIM based workflow, I can share the whole 3D model. You can see over here, the 6 towers to the podium. And nowadays, everyone is using the smartphones. So this small file easily, I can share with them. And where, the way how you read like the MS Word file, the way you exchange, the Excel files, the Word files, the PowerPoint presentation. Similarly, the small files which you can share, through email, where they can just the walk through, fly through, check everything in detail, and they can communicate. This is a very old, the tool what I'm using, but very useful one. Let me just show it to you. Like this on the concrete, and you can see here steel side with every information added in it. Okay, and it's a very intelligent model where it gives the each and every information, like the bolts and the welds, the member details, the length, every information. And when you want to communicate, so directly what you can do over here is there is some issue in this particular area. So one of the biggest benefit in the BIM is the model based communication. Let's come back here. Okay, I'll just save and send it back to them. And when they receive this file, they also don't know what exactly I'm talking about. And when they scroll down on 15th of May 2021, there is some comment. That means it's a model based communication. And at the same time, we will be able to share, we can attach, the different files like the PDFs, the drawings, everything, we can share with, the third party. That is something possible. And at the same time, let me just show you the form work. This is one of the benefits, when you're working on the BIM based process, where you already have the model, okay, like, the slab beam columns, the shear wall, everything is there. You can attach the different types of formworks. So this formwork is an aluminum based formwork where the standard panels and the last one will go to the fabrication. So easily, you will get the quantities and the drawings so that, you can share these details with the construction team. That is something, very useful. One of the benefit in the benefit of BIM. Going to the next, the installation and delivery and coordination. As I said in the beginning, like when you have the survey information and all the column locations, okay, each and every, the elements location, you can transfer to the total station machine. Nowadays, everyone is using the total station machines, okay, which will support, and we can transfer the information to the total station machine, and total station machine will transfer these points on the ground, which is very important and required. And especially when you're working on the steel structures and the precast structures, this is very important. And it's a two-way communication that is possible. And the next is the virtual reality and the augmented reality and the mixed reality. Nowadays you hear these words, right? So let me just show it to you, the one video on when you go to the site, you have the model, the created. We have the digital model, the completely, we are going to discuss with the digital model, and at the same time connect with the concerned design team. And when I walk, I can see the stair, every member, and even the reinforcement and the details added with the HoloLens. Whatever the information added in the model after the design, and even I can see the information like the mechanical, electrical, plumbing information, what we added in the model before the actual construction happens. We can do one mock run also can. You can inquire, any member, any detail. You can check the details. Even when you are going for any meetings, the construction, the meetings, so that time no need to carry the drawings. So directly you can discuss with the digital model where everyone can put their HoloLens and you can walk through, fly through, you can zoom, you can inquire, you can check each and every member information. That is something the possible. Okay. The software, the tool licensing options. There are, the different options are available, like the perpetual and the subscription. And when you are adopting any new software, so you can check these, like the perpetual license allows end user to use the software for as long as the end user complies with all terms of license agreement. And there will be a small fee attached to that. There is a maintenance where it includes the maintenance upgrades and the technical support. And the subscription is something that relates to a monthly or annual licensing model and allowing user to pay as per user fee. And customer typically pay an initial subscription upfront and are entitled to use the software only during the subscription term. Okay, and most of the time what happens is the software licenses, the whatever we buy, they put in the cost of the project. Okay, so then subscription is the option or the perpetual. Okay, that is possible. And when I went through the different the tools on the comparison side, on the analysis and design and the detail and the drawings and the calculation, so most of the tools for the the standard conditions like the regular and the irregular the type of modeling, the results almost the same. Okay, the nominal variation is there, and this I took some snapshot from the research reports where even for the analysis as well as for the designs, okay, the results are the difference is very nominal, and even with the manual calculations also. Okay, there are various the verification files are there that also we can check. That is something possible. And this is my last slide on the key points where the computational efficiency of all the software tools are more or less parallel. That means the same. And for structures which have a very large number of members and irregularities, the computational procedure takes more time. And again, it depends on the hardware. And in the design results, there will be nominal difference in the area of reinforcement steel. Okay, you get the percentage of steel and how we distribute it. Again, there is some small difference, and which is very nominal. And engineers use, the BIM tool, as I said, like the BIM, to determine the structural loads or the requirement for the design. And features of BIM like automated assembly and digital production are used by engineers to process manufacturing information and coordination the sequence of different systems with fabricators and subcontractors. In the interest of the project, if you start adopting the BIM, that is something definitely going to help, like the design to fabrication and the construction. And as I said, like repeatedly, the industry is moving towards automation, and this is going to be very fast. And there are many benefits seen by using the software tools, such as improved turnaround in bidding, engineering, manufacturing, and as well as in the execution. The software selection is usually based on the project requirements and can be easily adapted to based on the user's technical expertise, the internal expertise. And day by day, the technology is advancing at a very fast pace, and which requires us to leave behind the age-old, the practices and embrace the new technology. And early adopters definitely, will reap the benefit and be able to work on the global projects. And those are attending today, the students and civil and structural engineering students will also gain from this new technology, since there is a huge demand for the skills, those who know the technology like the BIM, the Building Information Modeling. So this is my last slide. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chandra Shekar.
Take back the control, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take back here. That was a wonderful presentation. It exposed us to various aspects of structural softwares and tools that are available. And on behalf of everyone, I thank you for making this presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Let me just take back. Yeah, you can close your.
Okay.
Fine.
Sure, sir.
Fine. Yeah, thank you, Chandra Shekar.
Thank you, sir.
Before we take on the question and answer session, we have a small 5-minute presentation by Bengaluru Center of Association of Consulting Civil Engineers about another series that is due to come up next month. That's going to be another 10 lecture series with a panel discussion subsequently. I would like to, is Mr. Rajesh Kannan there? Mr. Rajesh Kannan?
I am available. Yeah.
Okay. I'll pass on the screen to you for making the presentation. This is the brochure.
Can you load it?
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, I could able to see it. Yeah.
Okay. Now it's all yours. You can explain about.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening to all participants. I thank you very much for patiently attending the webinar. And I thank Mr. Chandra Shekar and the team leader, Dr. Ajit Sabnis, and moderator, Engineer Ranganath, for doing a wonderful job. I think you all know that this is the second series which we are completing today. The first series on Sustainable Engineering series, which was from 26 September 20 to 28 November 20, we done that. And then Structural Engineering series, now it is getting over, which was started on 27 February. Now we are coming with the third webinar series, which is focusing on the professionalism in civil engineering. It is completely going to talk about the professional issues, which is haunting us. You may be knowing, this, what we are talking about, the professionalism. When the profession is good, then professionalism automatically need to be good. But, in the sports, like we have the amateur and professionals players are there. So that kind of difference still in our civil engineering existing, which we don't want. Okay. So in that, if somebody achieves some at least 5 qualities in the profession, then the professionalism will evolve from that. One is knowing your stuff, ethics, and having a moral compass, keeping your word, being honest, and supporting others. So with this quality, when this is missing, then there are a lot of other problems coming up. There are a lot of unethical practice, and then unqualified elements comes into picture, non-recognition, not following the codes, national building codes, and other things. So in this condition, then we thought this is a very ideal situation to bring this kind of series for the awareness of our fellow civil engineers. I will go to the topics. Can you please start for? Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So we are going to cover these topics. First, Engineer Sangeeta will be talking about building bylaws and building failure and overview. Then Engineer Surya Prakash is going to talk about unprofessionalism in government and private organization. Then our engineer Avinash Shirode, who was our past president, he is going to talk about legal disputes on civil engineers competence in India. Then Engineer Ratnavel will speak about competence of civil engineer as per NBC Part 2 and negligence of state governments. And Dr. Arvind Galgali will speak about construction industry, employability, and civil engineering curriculum. Then Engineer Raju Gogia will speak about model building bylaws and its impact on civil engineers. Then Professor Mahesh Tandon will be speaking about civil engineering profession, past, present, and future. Then Dr. Joseph from Cochin, he will be talking about case studies, system failure in public administration of construction field. And Engineer Ratnavel will speak about necessity of regulating Indian civil engineers and role of professional bodies. And our own the series moderator, Engineer Ranganath, will speak about a model civil engineering bill. All this program will be moderated by our Dr. Kalgal, whom you people will be aware of. So we are bringing a lot of experts from various, fields to present you. I request one and all to attend this program and then get benefit out of it. And the entire thing is being conceptualized by the program coordinator, Srikant Channel, who is Secretary of Bangalore Center. The first webinar series was presented by Bangalore Center. The second one was under the aegis of ACCE Institute, which was under the head of Dr. Ajit. And the third webinar is going to be done by Bangalore Center. We welcome you all for the webinar. So further, I will hand over to Mr. Ranganath to speak a few words on this and then take it forward. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh Kannan. Friends, that was Mr. Rajesh Kannan. He is the chairman of Bengaluru Center of Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, and he is also the Secretary General of the Association of Consulting Civil Engineers at the national level. And this is a program, the series that has been thought of very well by the Bengaluru Center, and under the leadership of Mr. Srikant Channel. I think they are trying to conduct a very good series talking about the professionalism in civil engineering. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful series which will be beneficial to most of us civil engineers. And I urge everybody to continue supporting the association activities, and I request everybody to please attend this one. And it is going to start on the 12th of next month. That is the second Saturday. And like what we have been having about other series, other lectures, this is also going to be held on every Saturday between 4:30 and 6 o'clock in the evening, starting from the second Saturday of June. And it will go on for 11 weeks. The last week, we will have a panel discussion wherein all the thoughts that floated on during the previous 10 weeks are going to be discussed, debated, and probably a kind of a procedural data is going to be collected, and that the Bengaluru Center of the Association is planning to hand over to the concerned authorities, the government departments, for them to be considered and implemented in practice. I look forward to all of your supports for this. And thank you very much for that, Mr. Rajesh Kannan and Mr. Shrikant Chanal. We now move on to the question and answer session of today's presentation. I request everyone to be ready with their questions, and one by one, you can raise your hands and start asking questions. And I request Mr. Chandra Shekar to tackle the questions and give suitable answers for the same. Yes. Who's first, please?
Sure, sir.
Mr. Ganga Prasad Gupta. Please go ahead, Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta? Mr. Gupta, you have a question? Okay. Next, who's there? Meghal Karikar. Meghal, please go ahead, Meghal.
Or else you can put in a chat window, sir. You can put your question in the chat window.
Good
It's
evening,
okay. Yeah, Meghal. Go ahead.
members of ACC. It was an excellent presentation by our engineer Chandra Shekar. Very informative, and even I think all of us have to get into this. And just a question to Mr. Chandra Shekar: is all these softwares what you're using to ensure connectivity with the BIM module? Do you outright buy them, or do you buy them project basis, or you have a regular rotating license?
Chandra Shekar.
I use on the project basis, sir.
Yeah, then, but then how do you ensure your expertise in the use of the project if it is a project basis, and if some client
Your voice
wants
is breaking. Hardly I can hear you.
now can you hear me? Now can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, see, you will be having a team of engineers who are working on this. So my question is, are all of them trained on the various platforms, or or you're trained on a particular platform and you recommend only those platforms to your client?
Did you hear that, Chandra Shekar?
Definitely on the project to project, the different platforms. Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely on
you
the
can give the
project
answer.
requirements, and at the same time we check the compatibility and the BIM based, as I said, okay, the different files and the file formats which we use, so that we can transfer the model from one application to the other application, so that we can complete the the process. And a few tools we have perpetual, that is permanent one, and the few tools we acquired on the subscription basis, and especially on the project to project.
How do you train the project engineers to use the BIM app on their iPad or on their phone?
Yeah, training is something very important, sir. Without the training, it is very difficult to implement the BIM. So you need to give sufficient time on the training. So there will be a learning curve, and at the same time the implementation also. Okay, so we need to check that, which is very important. And without the training, it is going to be very difficult.
Are you offering
proper implementation we have to do? Then only it is possible.
Are you offering
But it
training
is not
services
difficult.
to project
It will be
engineers?
time taking, but definitely yes.
Are you offering these services, training services to the project engineers?
Chandra Shekar, are you there?
Your voice is breaking, sir. Hardly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, 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 sir.
Meghal, I think I have a suggestion. Chandrasekhar sir,
Yes, sir.
kindly share your number to all the participants, so that in case the
Sure, sir.
audio clarity is not there now, they can always get in touch with you for much more details, and then you can interact with them personally.
Sure,
also.
sir. Sure, sir.
I mean,
Sir.
I find that the
offering
audio
training
problem is there at your end. Because we
Yeah,
are able to hear Meghal very clearly.
Yeah, for some reason,
Yeah,
the audio is not clear.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Chandra Shekar, can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir. I can hear your voice. Yes.
Yeah. Meghal Karikar's question was, do you undertake such services of training the engineers at site for any given project?
Sorry, come again, sir.
Do you undertake giving services in training of engineers at sites for a given project?
To use the BIM platform.
Your voice is breaking, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Now, if anybody has question, they can put up on the chat box. Probably Mr. Chandrasekhar can read it and then give the answer.
Yeah,
if
please
possible.
put in a chat window, sir. Please.
Yeah.
Please put in a chat window. Yeah.
Karakar, the last question you can put it up over there. Who's next? I
There
think
is a
Dr.
question. What is
Krishnamurthy
the
wants to
method
ask
of
a question.
analysis used by BIM softwares? There is one question. What is the method used in the analysis? Okay, it is the same as I said, like the various types of analysis. So which you are using in any day-to-day, the projects. So all the methods of analysis are available. Okay, all the method of analysis starting from the
1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. Dr. Krishnamurthy has a question.
Yeah.
Dr. Krishnamurthy,
So all
go
the
ahead.
options are available.
Dr. Krishnamurthy, go ahead.
I'll try to be brief. I'm so happy to go back about 40, 50 years when I knew Leroy Emkin, the developer of JT Strudel. And I was helping him, or he discussed things with me. And we traveled to 3 cities in India, Madras, Chennai, Bombay, and Calcutta, to showcase the GT Strudel at that time, which was leading. My question is very brief. Approximately how many lakhs would it involve? Whether, licensing for a project and not the whole software, including virtual reality, say for a project. So that I want to know roughly whether the micro, small, medium, or really the big companies only can manage it.
Did you get that, Mr. Chandrasekhar? Mr. Chandrasekhar?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Did you get his question?
Yes, sir. I heard the Krishnamurthy
approximate cost.
Question.
Yeah. Please go ahead and answer his question, please.
So running these kind of tools, on a subscription basis, a few lakhs only, sir. Okay, the few lakh rupees only, but only we need to know how to use those tools.
Yeah.
Okay, to put some time on the training, learning.
Yeah, that itself will cost quite a bit if you train them. The learning curve is quite steep. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Any question in the chat box? Ajit, did you see any question coming up?
Why? Yeah, I will read it. See, basically, I think there is some connectivity problem with Chandrasekhar's system. I read the question if he is able to hear. This is from Mr. Ram. Why beam column joint?
Can you hear me, sir? No.
Yeah.
Why we can hear you. We can hear you. You are not able to hear us.
See, the question is why beam column joint cannot be modeled like a real life joint in software. Beam column joint has to be modeled considering center to center joints only in software.
Okay, I can see the one question here. Why the beam column joint cannot be modeled like a real life joint in software? It is possible, sir. The real life joint, that is possible. In my live presentation, I have shown you some of the connections, like the tubular as well as the moment connection. Okay, they are all to the scale and real. So what you can model, what you can model, the same we can build also. Actually, BIM will allow you to build, the constructible models.
Okay, Chandrasekhar, there are a lot of students, in generally I am reading their pulse. See, basically most of them suppose if they want to have expertise in, or acquiring better knowledge or understanding of the BIM, where do they go? Do they have to undergo a training or like, for example, AutoCAD, like we know where to go, how much is available. that kind of a thing. Can you suggest anything where it is affordable for the students and students can learn? Because it is still not
They
a
can reach
subject in
to us, sir,
the,
like, right,
not
sir, right,
taught
sir.
in the
So apart
colleges.
from
Yeah.
this TurnBIM Engineering Services, we have the one more, the BIM resources where we are training, the engineers on this platform. They can reach to us, sir. BIM resources.
Okay.
And do you train the students there and charge for that?
Sorry, sir.
Do you train students? And if so, what will be the fees that you're going to charge for the same?
Yes. That is very nominal, sir. Like the training for a month, that will cost somewhere around less than 27,000 rupees. And for the student for the final year internship also, they can approach lesser than 15,000 rupees. Yeah, we made it very nominal so that we generate more manpower in the industry.
And from your experience, what will they learn in a month's training? Will they be industry ready?
Sorry?
In a month's of training, will the student be industry ready? Will he be accepted in the industry to work on a BIM project?
The training program, what we provide is, the training program, what we provide is for a month. And
Let me mute them all. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is online training available for the students?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, participants, can you please mute?
So in the same context, I would like to ask whether the online training nowadays is available for the students in this pandemic.
No, sir. Especially when we are, especially for this BIM training, we prefer to provide, the on-site or the classroom training. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So online is something not suggested.
Okay.
Because when they are in a classroom, they go with all the exercises.
Okay. And yeah, who's this?
It's Shivan from Bangalore.
Please unmute yourself, Chandra Shekar. Yeah, Shivananda, go ahead.
Yeah. It is an excellent presentation from Mr. Chandra Shekar. I have a question. Is there a software? Can we use a different structural system in the one model? Like one floor is the beam slab, and second floor is the floor slab, flat slab system. Is there any software like that?
Shekar, please unmute yourself.
There are many tools, sir. Nowadays, that will allow you to, the model search, the floor by floor. That is possible. Yes, there are various tools.
Which software, sir?
Which software you're using, sir, right now?
Now I am using STAD, ETAB, then SAP also. There is no in ETAB there is not at all possible, right? And STAD and all, two different structural systems.
No, don't go as a typical one. Always, you can change, sir. That is possible.
In STAD also possible.
Yes, sir. It's possible.
Maybe you have to upgrade your
Please try it
software.
again. Or else, No, sir. With the existing only, they can try. You can always, you can send me an email. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
No,
Thank you, Shivananda.
Basically, when they go to the next level and they want to change the system, they should not do typical copy. They should again model it at that level. And they can always put a flat slab instead of beam columns.
Correct, sir. Correct. You're right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meghal.
Thank you.
Next. Next, any other questions?
Sir, I am Sivaram. I have one clarification.
Yeah, Rajendran, go ahead.
Yeah. This is for a clarification. Even if we choose to use the BIM, we still need to build the structural model in analysis packages, do the analysis, do the design. Then, instead of making the drawing and detailing, we need to embed the result in the building information model. Is my understanding correct? Or the BIM software itself is capable of analysis and design?
So the BIM software is capable of doing the analysis and design. See, the workflow is something like this.
1 minute. Let me unmute. 1 minute, Chandra Shekar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, unmute yourself and talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. See, the process is like this. See, first you bring in the architectural information, okay, and then you see the architectural information, which is based on that you position the columns and the column orientation. The software will not decide the column orientation and where you're going to put the braces and all that the engineer need to decide. Once after that discuss with the architects, and once it is finalized, you do the analysis and design, and after that it goes to the next level. But always, the user, they need to key in the parameters. Nothing like, the fully automated. But, always, it will help you to make it more automated. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rajendra. I think if there are more questions, you can always write to us. Chandra Shekar, you can just put up your number in the chat box and the email. So that who have questions, they can always contact you.
Hello.
Sure, sir.
Hello.
Shashikant, I think that was the last question we finished.
Yes, sir. It is only one sentence. Dear Chandra Shekar, sir, good evening, sir. I am engineer Shashikant Kannur from Hubli. Sir, very nice program. Is it audible to you?
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Yes, sir. This is a very simple thing, just for information's sake. Sir, to get trained by professionals and students. So, will it require to make the professionals and students available at your place? How is it, sir?
Sir, I lost in between. Can you please repeat the same? I lost in between.
Sir, professionals or students from outstation who are quite away from you, maybe 300-500 kilometers away, should them themselves make available to your place to get trained for 1 month training?
It's a classroom
Are you
training
getting my
only,
point?
sir.
For training,
yes, it's a classroom training only.
Should the professionals or students make themselves available to your place?
Yes, sir.
Should they come to your place, sir?
Correct, sir. Correct. It's a classroom training.
That venue, sir. Venue.
It is in Bangalore only, sir. Rajarayeshwara Nagara.
Okay, sir. Okay. We have your mobile number and email ID in the brochure, and we will follow up, sir. Thank you very much. Very nice program. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Shashikant.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think with that, we are coming to the end of today's presentation and also end of the structural engineering series, which we have been listening to over the last 11 weeks. I hand over the mic to Mr. Dr. Ajit Sabnis, project leader of this particular series, and congratulate him for having conducted this series so very well. It was so informative and so useful for all of us. Dr. Sabnis, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ranganath. And thank you for excellently moderating the whole show. And thank you, participants, for being with us. I will not take much time. I know it has been quite long. As I'd like to recapitulate, the idea from which the whole thing started. As we have been informing you all, ACC, Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, one of its endeavor to disseminate knowledge among the students community and also among the various professionals. Under this particular year, it was Dr. Ashwath's idea, the president's idea, that we should have institutes, and then that is how the whole ACC institute came into the picture. And then we had 4 verticals. One vertical was sustainable engineering, and then the second one was structural engineering series. Third one was the material part of it, and then the fourth one is the construction. These are the 4 verticals. Out of these 4 verticals, the sustainable engineering series, which began in the beginning of the year, was a tremendous successful. For that particular series, we had on an average 700 to 800 participants were there. And with that, and then a lot of inquiries came, and then that is how the second vertical, the structural engineering vertical, started. It's very extremely gratifying. I thought more students would have got benefited by this free virtual dissemination by ACC. Some of these experts, you will not be able to get them, or even so easily will be accessible and spend so much of time for this particular activity. But they came, and then this average, the second series, what we are talking now, the structural engineering series, if you take an average of last 10 series, and then today we have, of course, little less participants, but in the last 10 series on an average, it is 302 is the average participation. And we also devised that, every course, immediately after attending every course or every session, it is going to be a certification course. And then every student who has been registering himself, or who have registered himself, or the participant who has registered himself for us, it has been, the certificates are being sent to them. E-certificates are being mailed to them. And second thing is, all speakers were kind enough to give their consent to upload their presentations, so that immediately after every session, it was possible for the students to download the presentation and then probably go through the presentation once more, and then so that the understanding could be better. That was with that idea. I would definitely like to I think Ranganath, you can take out this presentation. We can come on the full screen. So yeah, no, this I think Chandra Shekar's presentation. Diksha, you can even avoid this screen so that we can see all the participants in the thumbnails.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I'll just show all the speakers.
Yeah, and perfect. Yeah, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our speakers who have been excellent in their presentation. To begin with, our first session was with Surya Prakash, and second session was with Basavaraj. Third session was CJ Raghunath from Coimbatore. Fourth one was Engineer Satish Raipure from Nagpur. Our Dr. Yadunandan from Mysore. Hemant Vadalkar from Mumbai. Dr. B.V. Ravindranath from Bangalore. Suresh Rao, consultant from Bangalore. Again, Surya Prakash. Then last session we had from N.N. Nagendra Kumar from Sterling, and today we have heard Engineer Chandra Shekar. I would, on behalf of ACC, on behalf of all the staff, back-end staff who have been helpful to us to conduct this whole series very successfully, I'm very, very, extremely thankful to all these people, especially our ACC staff, and especially to mention Diksha. because she has been continuously working on this and continuously preparing the list, noting down all the registrations, sending the certificates, everything, getting in touch with the speakers, and trial runs, and then all these things. There are a lot of work which at the back end office did, and then really grateful to all those people to make this extremely successful. But I think we would probably expect all those participants, student participants, please inform them. If you are happy at this point of time, please inform more number of your friends to attend that, so that you will get benefited by this. And then we are trying to bridge the gap, and not only trying to bridge the gap, whatever we think, we are trying to instill some kind of 21st century skills that we thought it is absolutely required. The BIM may have a lot of questions today, as Chandra Shekar explains, but as the time flows down, probably this will become one of the important skills that we are talking about, of the compulsory skills. So that is how ACC is coming. And now there will be a gap till probably the August, the next session gets completed, which Kannan explained, and then last session Srikanth also is. So we have on civil engineering professionalism this series, which is also extremely important. Other than our academic understanding, we also should know what exactly our rights are. What do we actually, what professionalism is, and then as civil engineers, what all we can do, and what we need to know. I think all these things will be very seriously dealt with. And I wish Srikanth Channel and his entire team, the next team, to take over. And with once this gets completed, we are ready with the construction engineering series. So hope to you. And I think I'm very happy to know that now it has become kind of every Saturday between 4 and 5:30 or between 4 and 6, it is for ACC. Because one session we did not have last time, but I find that some people tried to log in, and then we had to tell them, dear friends, it's not, we have announced that there is no session today. So, but I think we are slowly reaching that stage. I once again take this opportunity to thank all the participants, to thank all fellow ACC members, seniors who have attended this and who have been a tremendous encouragement for all the student participants. So thank you very much, and we take leave from you. Thank you very much. Ranganath, the floor is over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ajit Sabnis. That was nicely put forth from the association point of view. Thank you so much. Friends, we come to the end of our series. Again, I think it's recording. I'll mute everybody. Next 5 minutes, I would
Ranganath, is President Ashwath there?
I don't know. I didn't see his name anywhere. Dr. Ashwath, if you are there. Okay, I don't think. Yeah, of course, our Secretary General should be there. Now, I request if anybody would like to share their thoughts, probably the pluses and minuses. If somebody would like to express their thoughts, that will definitely help us in our future programs that we are going to organize. The floor is open. Maybe for the next 5 or 10 minutes maximum, we can have an open floor where we can discuss about it. If anybody wants to say something, let's unmute and talk.
Sir, Rangnath sir.
Yeah,
hello.
Please be brief.
Sir, this is not my individual opinion. So I am representing.
Please unmute yourself, Shashikant.
I unmuted actually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, Sabnis sir, good evening, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Under your leadership, we feel very much proud and happy to follow you. So it is very much a helpful series of you, sir. And great hats off to you, sir, and Raghunath sir, and all from headquarters side related to this series and speakers also. Sir, it is not my individual opinion. I am representing our center and our colleague friends, even non-ACC India members also, sir. So I sincerely request on behalf of attendees to upload the sessions completed to YouTube channel we have. So already Diksha madam has sent the link. But recently, even before lockdown, sir, we don't have the sessions available in YouTube to follow, sir. We miss
No,
the
yeah,
things.
Shashikant, we will see 6 sessions have been uploaded on YouTube. The last 4 or 5 sessions have not been uploaded on YouTube for some technical reason. We are going to sort it out, and then all the sessions will be available on YouTube also.
Okay, sir.
I have muted again.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
One more important point. Our one senior engineer requested me just a couple days back to upload the sessions of other webinars also. It is a request from our engineer side who are regularly we are attending webinars, sir.
Okay.
Not
It will be
only
done,
structural
Shashikant.
engineering, not only structural engineering series, other webinars are also are hence hereby requested from our side to upload to YouTube, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion.
And last point, sir, in the next series, simultaneously and parallelly, if possible, to arrange and connect to other channels of such as Zoom, YouTube, Facebook will be better, so that what happens even in the in case of failure of network or anything, our members can will have a multiple choice to connect through other channels also.
Okay, that will be passed on to the management. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I just want to make a comment.
Hello.
Who's this? Yeah.
Mahesh Dalwani from Mumbai, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Dalwani.
Yes, sir. I attended all your sessions. I am very thankful. Such a nice presentation you people have made it. Stay blessed. And I will be attending the future sessions also. And network problem is there in the Tilak Nagar Chembur area. So I have to every time again and again connected. But I am thankful to you. And if any help is required from my side, I will be definitely sharing my ideas and views with time to time. I will be attending the session. But this is a nice series that you planned, and future also you very nicely planned. I will join that series also. Thank you very much.
Sir, are you a member of ACC?
No, sir. I will become the member of PCC.
Yeah, please become the member of ACC, because senior people like you should form a part of it. And you can please get in touch with this.
I will contact Dikshan madam. I will contact the Dikshan madam and become the member of the ACC.
Please. And start Mumbai Center.
Stay blessed, sir.
If about 25 of you can join together, you can form a center over there.
Okay.
And we can support you in terms of organizing such programs and help you out in moving forward. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dalwani. Next, anybody else would like to share?
Raghunath here, sir. Mr. Raghunath.
Who is this?
Raghunath.
Raghunathan, please go ahead.
Yes, others have been telling it is an excellent show for the ACC headquarters and coming out with the series. And it's a hats off to Ajit and as well as to you. And it's a congratulations for both of you. And also wish the new team, Mr. Dr. Kangal and channel to take care of the next sessions. And as you have been just telling, so I was also about to point out that you must be having the data of all the participants who have participated in the 11 seminars or the previous also. All these people can be given a separate mail indicating the ACC. They can be included into the ACC membership, so that it will be a growth to the organization also. So I think that attempt can be made, so that we'll have a big data bank of all the people, so that we can send the individual members. Thank you. Congratulations, and I will continue to serve the engineering fraternities.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Raghunathan, for the presentation also you made in this particular series. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you for your suggestion about other members who have attended. In fact, from the association office, emails have already reached many of these members to become part of our ACC group. And I'm sure many of them are going to be considering and becoming members. Thank you for the suggestion.
Just one more line to Rajesh, our Secretary General Rajesh Kannan. The letter which was sent to MHRD, MHRD and other professionals, it is excellently drafted. It's a hands up to him that it is a right letter. It has covered every aspect of the architect's bills and how it is going to be to be defended. Congratulations,
thank you.
Rajesh
Thank
Kannan.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghunath. I think Mr. Rajesh Kannan, our Secretary General, wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Mr. Kannan.
Actually, President is not there, so I would like to express on behalf of headquarters, my sincere thanks to Dr. Ajit, who has curated this program and went on very well. Overwhelming response from students as well as professional engineers. And also, I want to congratulate you for wonderfully moderating the program, Engineer Ranganath. Really hats off to you. You have done very well the job which has been given to you, assigned to you. And really, I thank you very much for a wonderful job done. And again, my congratulations to Dr. Ajit and you. With this, I hand over back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Anyone else would like to share? Okay. I think with that, we come to this end. And from the Association of Consulting Civil Engineers India and from ACCI Institute's working group, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to all those who have participated in the series on structural engineering. We thank you very much. And we request you to keep supporting us in terms of participation in this seminar series, what we'll be conducting in future, and also by becoming members of the association. That will give us a lot more strength. And also, we would like to, we're very much interested in spreading the association activities to different parts of the country. So we definitely would like to form centers in many cities where we don't have centers already. So if some people are interested, we definitely would encourage you to come and join hands with us and ensure that India grows as far as civil engineering is concerned. Thank you very much. Good night to all.
Thank you.